So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harvard. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Now we're going to introduce our guest trainer. I would like to introduce the person that will introduce our guest trainer for you to understand what is about to drop. This person that I'm about to introduce is an amazing, incredible man. He can speak. He has a community of 100,000, almost thousands, 11,000 people from how many countries? 48 countries, 40 something country all over the world. He has trained so many people. He has raised a lot of millionaires. Sorry, you cannot see the video right now because some spirits did not want you to see the video. But when our guests, VVIP guest comes up, you probably see the video. So ladies and gentlemen, is none other than the Ferrari driving man. Welcome, Kenny Wokoye, to introduce our guests today. Oh yeah, come on, come close. Come on, talk, come on, talk.
Hey, God, how are you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Hey, God, I'm just laughing here in the house. Guys, I don't want to waste too much of your time. The guy who is going to be teaching you today is someone who comes beyond highly recommended. I usually call him the unbannable Ben. And I'm not just hyping him here. I'm actually saying this because ever since I started working with him almost a year ago, imagine, since that time frame, I've not experienced Facebook ban. I've not experienced it before. In fact, whenever we're setting up ad campaigns, he will be the one telling you the things that will happen that Facebook, or rather the things that inside your campaign, Facebook will see it and then they will ban. So this guy I'm talking about has spent nothing less than $500,000 on adverts for himself and his different clients all over the world. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce. Please use the fire emojis if your fingers are not too busy right now as I bring up a very hot advertiser, Mr. Ben Iromosele.
Mr. Kenny of the Most High, like greet especially, boss.
Ben, is over to you then.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Even myself, I almost did not recognize myself when you started introducing me. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Sam. I really appreciate the opportunity. LAP, it's so good to be in your midst. I appreciate each and every one of you for having me this evening. I don't know, let me turn on my video. This so that since you couldn't see Mr. Sam's face, you guys can at least see my face more. I don't know if you can see me.
Yes, loud. We can see you clearly.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity, and I'll try as much as possible not to take so much of your time. We have a lot to cover from the assignment that I know of. We're going to be doing a little bit of introduction to Facebook ads, and then we're going to be doing some practical sections also. I hope we can cover that tonight. Is there a time frame for us to do this, or let's just get ahead with it? Are we working with a time frame, Mr. Sam?
To unmute was long. I was looking for the button to unmute. We normally have up to 3 hours on the class, so anything within is great.
Oh, okay. No, I'll try as much as possible to be within that time frame. So let me get some energy from you guys and be sure that you can hear me and we're ready. Say we are the trials. I'm loving the energy already. So let me share my screen and let's get right to it. Let's start cutting some small. I mean, what Mr. Sam is doing in LAP is amazing, and I can't but be appreciative enough of you for bringing me in to be part of this. LAP is, for me, is the biggest affiliate platform in Nigeria, and to be associated with it and be associated with you guys. Come on, the amount of soap you guys get every now and then from Mr. Sam is not to be taken for granted. So I really appreciate being part of this. Please confirm you can see my screen now. Just drop a chat, just drop a message in the chat to be sure that you can see my screen. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Okay, so for today, what we're going to be discussing is basically a master class. We're going to bombard. I hope your heads are open up because you're going to be getting a lot of information. And if you don't have your pen and paper right now, you need to grab it, even though it's being recorded, but you need to grab as much information as you can now so you can begin to implement almost immediately. Yet we're going to be doing a lot tonight. We have a long way to go, and we are going to, we have a lot of questions. I hope we have time to tackle all of them. But these slides I prepared a short slide. This slide is supposed to be a preamble for you guys to be able to understand what you even need to do before you run your ads. Because one thing that people forget, or one thing that people don't always remember, is the fact that it's not just to wake up one morning and then say I want to run ads. Yeah, there are background work, there are things that you need to do that you need to have in place before you even start running your ads. It's not to wake up one morning, if not, except maybe your plan is to be dashing mark your money. But if your plan is not to be dash mark your money for no reason, then there are things that you need to do even before you set up your campaign and ensure that that campaign is going to be profitable. So we're going to be diving right into it. And for now, I'm sure a lot of you know what Facebook ads is, but we're going to be delving a little bit into why Facebook ads. Facebook ads is not just the only it's not the only method for you to drive paid traffic. There are so many ways. You have Facebook ads, you have Google ads, you have solo ads, you have PPC ads and all those other things. But one of the reasons why Facebook ads is so important these days is because of the huge database. Come on, for a platform that has over 2.9 billion users worldwide and over 30 million users in Nigeria, it is almost definite that your customers are already residing on Facebook. And it is important that you understand why you are advertising on a particular platform. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, I just hope you can hear me clear with this. So it is important that you understand why you're advertising on a particular platform before you even go in, because it is not just about every other person is doing it, let me go and do it. No, you need to understand why. You need to understand what you expect from something that you're advertising on. There's a kind of leverage that Google Ads will give you that Facebook Ads will give you. I'm going to be honest with you, but with the database that Facebook has and the targeting option that Facebook gives to you, it is one of the reasons why Facebook ads is important when you're in your line of business. And come on, a lot of us here are affiliate marketers, and one of the reasons why Facebook ads is important to us is because for every type of product that you intend to market or you intend to promote, you need to understand and be able to target that particular type of audience. And Facebook gives you that leverage. And Facebook also gives you your business more visibility for their own Facebook content and boost traffic to their core website content. Yeah. So whatever objective, whatever plan, whatever what campaign goal that you intend to achieve with your Facebook ads, Facebook will give you that leverage. So voice is cracking. I hope it's not my network. If you can hear me clearly, please drop the fire emoji. We need to be sure that it's just not me. It's not just Oluwa sharing that is saying this. If you can hear me clearly, drop emoji. Okay, fine. So it's just Oluwa, you might want to take a look at your network. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about what we're going to be discussing tonight. We have a lot of things to cover. We have a lot of ground to cover, and I'll try as much as possible. Before we go into technical walkthrough, we're going to be talking about things that you need to do, you need to know before you set up your ads. We're going to be talking about some of the tools, important tools that you need, depending on the kind of conversions that you want to have, depending on the kind of objective that you want to have in your ads. We're going to be talking a little bit about your funnel, how your funnel should look like, what you need to understand with regards to your funnel. I'm not going to be delving so much into the funnel aspect, These are things that you need to have in mind even before you pick up or you open the business manager. You need to understand what your funnel structure is going to be like, because that is what is going to inform how you're going to set up your ads within business manager. Then we're going to talk a little bit of why your ads may not be converting. This may not be holistic, but I took time to list a couple of things that are going to be the reasons why your ads may not convert. And if you look at it, if you look at some of those things, you would be able to get an idea of why your ads are not converting. Now, I was also going to be talking about protecting yourself from the almighty Facebook hammer. Like Kenny mentioned, he said my DN is the only one that has given me that name. But to a very large extent, I have another account that I've been running for almost 2 years, and that account, about 2 years plus now, and that account has never been banned by Facebook. You get, so it is important to do certain things, have a baseline for the kind of knowledge that you have and what you need to be doing on Facebook to protect yourself from Facebook. Because we're going to talk a little bit more on that later. Then when you're ready to scale your ads, what you need to do, what you have to keep in mind, and what you have to understand before you scale your ads. These are important because as marketers, it forms part of our conversions when you're ready to scale your ads. And I'm also going to be giving you a 30 days map. Remember, we're going to be talking about how Mr. Sal, I beg you. Okay, I'm going to be giving you a 30 days map to get yourself up and running, because one another mistake that a lot of people make, I'm going to say that here now clearly. If you don't pick up anything from this class, start with this. Do not rush into running ads. The way you rush in is the way you rush out. If you rush in, open your ad account and then start running ads, that's the same way. It is the same speed. Mark and his people will kick you out, because there are things that you need to do. You need to think about Facebook as a platform. Think about Facebook as I keep using this illustration when I'm telling people about how to run their ads and what to do. I look at Facebook, and I want you to think about Facebook as a very, very overprotective overprotected father that has a lot of children. You get, whatever you do on the platform is being monitored by the Facebook algorithm, and you need to understand that they are very, very protective of their users. So I'll be giving you a 30 days map that is going to help you get started. And from then on, you can now begin to scale and know what to do from there. Then we'll now do the technical walkthrough. I'm going to walk you through the business manager, the ad account, how to create an account, possibly how to set up your Facebook pixel. And I'm also going to, we're going to do a technical walkthrough of everything that you might need to know to get your ad up and running. So please, let me get 111 in the chat. Let me be sure that I'm still connected to you guys. Let me see 111 in the chat. Beautiful. All right, guys. So okay, now before you set up your ad, a good number of people get to their Facebook profile, page, ad account, or their business manager restricted because of simple things they didn't do even before they began to run their ads. The kind of result you also get from your ad is to a large extent dependent on what you do before you even run your ads. Now, like I mentioned before, another thing you need to know also is when it comes to restrictions, there are different levels of restrictions that Facebook gives to you. There is a temporary restriction where they just need you to upload your identity, do your identity verification, or a permanent restriction. Now, these two levels of restrictions can happen on either your profile, your page, your ad account, or your business manager. And when they come for your business manager, it means that you can even not do anything, and everything related to that business manager is going to be flagged. I'm going to explain a little bit more later, but you need to understand the different aspects where Facebook might come for you. It's either your profile, your page, the page where you're running the ads from, your ad account, or in general, your business manager. Most times when your profile is flagged, your business manager will almost automatically get flagged, but your page and your ad account may still be active. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more. But before you set up your ad, one thing that you should have in mind, one thing that you should remember is your landing page. Some people, I've seen so many, sometimes when I'm scrolling through Facebook, I see ads and then you see them land on something that looks like a bridge page or a squeeze page. It may work, it may work for a period of time, but Facebook will almost definitely come back. Why? Because there's something that is called bounce rate. If your bounce rate is less than 6 seconds, Facebook will flag that your page. And from then on, first of all, that is already, even if your ad is within their policy, even if your ad is not violating any of their community guidelines, your page could get, they would look at it as though you're taking their users from their platform to a page that has low quality content that is not even grabbing their attention or keeping their attention. So you want to make sure that when you're designing or building your landing page, and this is where your funnel comes in, which we're going to talk about later, but when you're designing your landing page, you should ensure that your landing page has enough content to keep people, to retain people for as long as 6 seconds or more. So one thing that influences this is the type of headline that you have on your page. And another thing you also have to note is your title, the headline on your landing page should be almost similar to the headline on your ad. So for example, if your ad is saying, five lessons for profitable income, so to speak. Now, that is not saying that you're going to be making money, but that is giving the insinuation that it is possible for you to make money. Now, your landing page can also carry a similar title. It may not be exact, but it is a similar title. That is another thing that also affects a lot of ad campaigns when the algorithm also bounces through your site, because once you put the link on your ad, the algorithm goes as far as checking your website and checking, especially that's one of the uses of the pixel. We're going to talk about the pixel later, especially with the help of the pixel. Facebook can entire site, especially focus on the landing page that you have in the ad. So it is important to make sure that the headline that you have is close, not exact, but close to the message that your ad is also passing. So it doesn't seem to the algorithm that you're saying something on the ad and then showing them something different on your landing page. That is why that is important. And then also when you're building a landing page, to the call to action, the kind of content that you have there, you have to also make sure that they are high quality. Because if you're running ads to a landing page, you're spending money to get eyeballs onto that landing page, and you have to make sure that that landing page is high quality. So if your ad is good, let's say you have an ad that is converting very, very well, or let me say that is working very, very well, and your landing page is low quality, people are not going to be clicking through. You get, if you're an action, let's say you're optimizing for purchases, for example, or you're optimizing for leads, because as affiliate marketers, that's one of the biggest thing that we do. If you're optimizing for leads and your landing page doesn't carry the right message, people are not going to join your your list. People are not going to take up your lead magnets. People are not going to interact with your brand, so to speak, depending on the objective that you have on the landing page. So you have to make sure that the content and the message that you have in your landing page carries the right punch, packs the right punch, so to speak. Then another thing, even before you start running your ads, also you have to talk about the ad creative. Now, for the ad creative, it takes me a lot of time to talk about this, but I'll try and summarize in the best way possible. There are two kinds of ad creative that you can get: images or videos, and then your copy. Depending on who you're speaking to, some will tell you that short form copy is best. As in, what I mean by short form copy is, let's say less than 1,000 words, or let's say less than 500 words in your copy. Some people will also tell you that long form copy does best. But what I say is dependent on what you're saying in your image or video. If your image carries a lot of information, and it's very, very direct, because there are ways you design your flyer, there are ways you design your image, and it's to carry the right information. If it carries the right information, you don't need to do a long form copy, or you also need to do a long form copy, but depending on what that image is saying, you can choose both ways. But then one thing I always recommend, if you ask me tomorrow morning, if you ask me this night, if you ask me 3 years ago, I'll tell you the same thing. After designing your images, after designing your videos, after building your ad copy, in your mind, you think you have built the best type of flyer in the world, or you think you have created the best kind of video, or you think that the best copywriter, you've hired the best copywriter to write your ad copy. But you can never know what is going to work until you start testing.
So you have to keep in mind while you're thinking about your creatives, you have to keep in mind that testing is an important aspect of your creative. So let's say you're building a campaign for a particular product, and I'm sure that's why ALP gives you different types of copies, different types of images, and different types of videos for you to test and see how you can alternate it and build a profitable campaign around it. So while you're thinking about the creatives that you need to use for your campaign, also think about how to create different variations of the creative. Now, this gives you two things. One, it gives you an opportunity to test and get the one that is working best for the audience that you're going to be working with. We're going to be talking about audiences later. Yet, you may have, I've seen it several times. I've seen it happen several times in different companies that have built an acceptable for businesses. You may look at a particular creative, the image or the video, and you say, there's no way this one will not convert. There's no way this one will not give me the result. But then when you put it on Facebook, the guys will not even interact with it. And you're like, I did everything right. I have a catchy headline. I had a punch line. I have this thing is supposed to grab your attention. And the one that you did not even really put in so much heart into, you'll be surprised during your testing. That's the one that people are resonating with. Now, while designing your copy too is another aspect, is another thing that you also need to remember. The reason why I said I thought it takes me a lot of time to talk about creative, because there's a lot that goes into why you're thinking about your creative. There are so many angles you can come from. You can come from the third-party angle, which is you are borrowing someone else's authority. You could come from the story angle, where you're telling a story that has happened to you before. You can come from the authority angle, where you're saying, I am an authority in this thing. I have done so and so numbers, and I'm telling you that this will work. You could come from there are so many angles you can come from while writing your copy, building your videos, or setting up your flyers or images to use for your campaign. So one reason why I'm also talking about this so deeply is because even before you wake up to say, I want to set up my ad, you have to pay attention to this. Now, another important aspect that you also have to remember, I'm glad I remember this, is building your creatives around the Facebook guidelines. What I said is building your creatives around the Facebook guidelines. To a very large extent, the words in your copy, the text in your image, and the type of image. If your image is too flashy, there are some videos that you could do, and the switching may be too fast. If the switching is too fast or the light effect is too high, Facebook may not approve that ad, and that is because they are thinking about their users. There are people who are photosensitive, and if the switching and the flashes of light in your videos is too much or too high, Facebook may not approve it, because they are thinking about users who are photosensitive. If you are pushing an ad in front of people who are photosensitive, they may like it, or they may be interested in it, but it may not be good for their health. So some of these things are little things that you have to put in mind while thinking about or creating your creative. You get now, like I mentioned before, make sure that your creative is within the Facebook guidelines. Now, another thing you should also remember is the 25% tax rule. This was about 3 years ago. This was very important about 3 years ago. But for now, I've noticed that Facebook is beginning to reduce their strictness when it comes to the 25% rule. And what is the 25% rule? You should not have more than 25% text on your flyer or your image. If you have more than 25% text on your image, they are going to either disapprove it now or disapprove it later. So that's one thing you should also keep in mind while you're trying to design your creatives. Then we'll now talk about your Facebook page. I call the Facebook page your house. I call it your house. I call it your representation on Facebook. Now, if you are brand new, if you're fresh, if you're just starting, if you don't have anything to do, you're just waking up one morning, you're becoming a fresh affiliate marketer, you're beginning to learn, and you don't have a page that has been seasoned, it is very important for you to season that page before you start running ads with it. Some people can open up a page. In short, I can do it. You can open up a page today and start running ads on it tomorrow. But if you're trying to build a page for the long term, a page that will serve you and make you money for a very long time, there are things that you need to do when it comes to that page. Your page has to have a header, It has to have a profile picture. It has to have a bio. It has to have a link. It has to have a phone number and a way to contact. You have to link that page to a business account, as a WhatsApp business account or Messenger, whichever one that you choose. You have to set up that page like a representation of an actual business. You get, your Facebook page is important. If you just say, okay, let me just build this page for this campaign, let me just do it, no, and then forget about it, fine. It is possible for you to do it, and it's one of the things that I'm going to recommend or show to you during your 30 days plan. It is something that you can easily do for the short term, no problem. If they restrict it, you don't have an issue. But if you intend to build a page for the long term, you have to set up that page and make it look like you are here to stay, because the algorithm will see it. The algorithm will take note of it. And then another thing you need to know, I need to remember when it comes to your Facebook page, is the fact that you need to have quality content on the page before you even begin to run ads, whether it's for short term or long term. Whether you're building the page for long term or short term, you need to have quality content on that page, because some people, some users, after seeing your ad, they may go to your website. They may not take action on your website. They will come back to your page. They will come back to your page and check, who is this person that's talking? Say, what does this person even have to offer? Whether it's your Facebook page or your Instagram page. You add Instagram page, because you might be running Facebook, your ads on Facebook and Instagram. Whether it's your Facebook page or your Instagram page, you need to pay attention to it and the kind of quality content that you have on it. And another reason why you should have content on it is if you're trying to warm up your ad account, your brand new account, or trying to warm up your Facebook page, those content that you've posted can help you do that. We're also going to talk about that in your 30-day plan. You get, so paying attention to your Facebook page, if you intend to run it for a long time, if you don't want to be switching pages, if you don't want to be opening a new page every now and then, if you want to a page that is going to work for you very, very long time, you need to pay attention to it. Build a very, very nice header for the page. These days, Canva, you can do a lot of things with Canva. Just go on Canva, or you pay a graphic designer, maybe 5K or 8K these days, or 10K maximum. A graphic designer will build you a good header and build you a very nice profile picture that you can use and make your page look a little bit professional. Then you can have content on it, minimum 10 days content. Minimum 10 days content on your page. And what I mean by 10 days content, I mean 10 different content minimum. It doesn't take, if you decide to post twice a day for 5 days, you already have 10 content on the page. You get, and if you are learned, if you have been gathering information or gathering knowledge about the product that you intend to promote, let's say, for example, because if you are a serious marketer, for example, you shouldn't be promoting product that you don't understand. So if you are promoting a product that you understand, finding content or creating content for that product is not going to be too difficult for you. At least 10 should not be hard. So you should have good content on your page for people to come back and refer to, whether Facebook or Instagram. When they come back, they should be able to see something that is going to tick in their brain. Because if you have 10, the probability of one of your content resonating with someone who lands on that page is higher. So that's why I recommend 10. At least 1 in 10 is going to resonate with the person that lands on your page. So you should have that, and then so that when people come, they'll be able to see that. Now, aside from that, another thing you also need to do, I forgot to mention this with regards to your page, is to set up a profanity setting for your page. I'm going to try and show that to you guys when we're doing the technical walkthrough. Set up profanity settings. And what this is, or what this does for you is, it helps Facebook, or it tells Facebook the kind of messages, the kinds of text to block out while either people comment on the post on your page or your ad. Now, another reason why this is important, I'm sure that a lot of you will see a lot of people's ads when you're saying scam, you're seeing this one doesn't know what he's saying, or you see plenty, I'm interested is good, but a lot of people, okay, but basically, most of this person is scam, those negative words, you need to tell Facebook that these words, I don't want to be seeing them in my comment section, especially for your ad, because it's going to add to your ad quality. When we're talking about ad quality, it's going to affect your ad quality when there are lots of negative comments on your ad. If you're scrolling through Facebook and you see an ad, and then when you open the comment section in that ad and you're seeing a lot of negative comments, you're not even going to click through. That is going to increase your click-through rate, and then Facebook will think that your ad is not good or relevant, and then they may even decide to ban it when the negative comment is high and when you get a lot of reports. I'm going to talk about that more a little bit later. Now, another thing that you have to be prepared is your payment method. Facebook can ban you for payment method. I say that again. Facebook can ban you because of your payment method. Now, if you don't pay for your ads on time, if you have too many failures with your payment method, Facebook can ban your account. In short, when you are running ads and then for some reason they cannot process their payment, they cannot collect their money because Mark likes money. He cannot be using his platform to advertise to people and make money and you're not giving him his own share. You get, so he wants to, or they want to make sure that at every point in time they can collect their money when they need to. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about it later, how to use your prepaid method. I think I set up something that we'll talk about that later. But prepare your payment method. Visa, Mastercard works best, and then your virtual cards. I personally recommend the UBA prepaid card. UBA prepaid card is not difficult to get if you're in Nigeria. It's in Nigeria here. Getting the UBA prepaid card is not hard. It's just 1,000 naira, both dollar and naira. It's not hard. That's one I use it a lot, and it's been working for me very, very well when it comes to Facebook. And then there are also your normal Visa cards and then Mastercards you get, and then your virtual cards also work too. I will add prepaid cards to this. The UBA prepaid cards work very, very well. So all you just need, you don't even need to have an account to UBA. All you just need to do is walk into their branch and then ask for their prepaid card. They call it the UBA Africa before now, but it's called prepaid card. So you can just know that you have that ready to go also. Now, another important, I cannot stress the importance of audience research. I cannot stress the importance of audience research. Like, I don't want to give a percentage to it, but a high percentage of the kind of result that you get will be based on the kind of audience that you have. If you're selling a shoe, if you're selling a shoe for men and you're targeting women that don't even have money, you will just be wasting your money, and Facebook will be happy. Facebook will be happy to collect your money. You get, so whatever product that you're promoting, if it's make money online, you should do your research and narrow it down to people who are going to be interested in making money online to as close as possible. And that's one of the leverages that Facebook gave you. I talked about why Facebook gives you that leverage. If you do your research right, you can have an audience of 2 million people that you can target, and you have a small budget. Reaching 2 million people is very, very possible. Yet before you even reach that entire audience, your budget would have been exhausted. Yet, so if you doing your audience research, spending time, taking out time to actually do your audience research and learn. You may do your audience research right now and then target them, and you see that it's not working, then you tweak it a little bit, learn, continue to improve. Another thing that you also can take away from this is test your audiences too. And it is important to test not more than, if you're familiar with the Facebook platform, that's the business manager already. Another thing that you should also do is test not more than 3 audiences in one ad set. So if you have, let's say, a budget of 5,000 naira a day, you can decide to test, and then let's say during your audience research, you found like, let's say 15 different interest behaviors, and what's the other one now? But you find up to 15 interests that you want to target. It makes sense to split them into 3s. You get, to split them into 3, like 5 different ad sets, and put 1,000 naira on each ad set that's within your campaign. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Maybe during the walkthrough, I'll show you what I mean. But in your business manager, you have the campaign level, you have the ad set level, and then you have the ads level. In your ad set level, after creating the ads that you intend to use for that campaign, you now duplicate your ad set and then split the 3 audiences within those ad sets and test. By the time you find the audiences that work best for your creative, then you can now double down on those audiences. That is another way to do audience research, but then you'll be spending a little bit of money to achieve that. But it is important. Testing is also part of your 30-day plan, which I'm going to be talking about later. But overall, doing a proper audience research, doing a proper audience testing is very, very important. But now we're talking about before you set up your ad. So before you even set up your ad, going into the business manager and then going into the audience insights tool and then checking and finding interests that are relevant to your audience and writing them down, noting them down before you even go to set up your ad. It is important so that while you're setting up your ad, you just know that, okay, I'm going to be splitting these 15 interests I found, I'll split them across this asset. You already know what you want to do before you even go into the business manager to set up your ad. Yeah, so we'll move to the next slide now. I'll try as much as possible to run through this. And then, so we're going to be talking about the tools, some of the tools you need there. This is just an abridged version of the kind of tools. With this set of tools, a lot of them are free. You can get all these tools, they are free, and then you can get you started almost immediately. So these tools that I've recommended here or that I'm mentioning here, they are tools that are free. You can easily grab and set up your ad and get going. I'm not putting any tools here that are paid, so you can easily get them and say they don't need to say, Ben said that we should get this and it is not free and I don't have the money to start. No, all these tools are free and you can find them easily. Now, to make life easier for you while trying to set up your ads, there are simple tools that you will need to have. And okay, aside from the payment method, maybe getting a UBA prepaid card that you spend 1,000 naira to get, I think that's the only thing you have to pay for. There are simple tools that you need to have and understand because they play different important roles. Now, you need to pay attention to your business manager. I'm going to show you how to create a business manager. Why do I recommend a business manager? If you have a Facebook profile, you already have an ad account. And that is one mistake that people make. You already have a personal ad account that is attached to your Facebook profile. Every Facebook user have a personal ad account, both on Facebook and Instagram. Now, people make the mistake of just going there. And even if you create a page, there's an ad account that is created with that page. And people just use that and say, let me just go and run my ads. Your ad will run, but you will be limited to the kind of tools that are available within the business manager and the type of security. I'll tell you about that security later. There's a type of security you get when you run your ads from your business manager rather than just running it from your personal ad account or the ad account within your Instagram. So now for the business manager, a tool and a very, very important tool that you need is Facebook Pixel. If you are running ads to a landing page, there is no way you should run ads without the Facebook Pixel. It is, I describe the Facebook Pixel. How I make people remember this pixel is like, while in secondary school, for those of us that grew up in Nigeria, there's always this thing that they call names of noisemaker. There's always that person in the class, maybe the class prefect or somebody that writes the names of noisemaker that goes back to the principal, the head teacher, that these are the people that have been making noise in the class. Now, that is what Facebook Pixel does for you. It goes back to Facebook. It's a way for Facebook to tell what is happening on your site in terms of conversions, in terms of traffic, in terms of user behavior. You get the Facebook Pixel. It is the reporting tool for Facebook to know what's happening. Now, Facebook have improved on it. Now there's this thing they call API conversions. Now that's an advanced level of what the Facebook Pixel can do, but that's a different ballgame entirely. But what you need to get started, your Facebook Pixel is very important. I hope I have time. I'll show you guys how to install your Facebook Pixel. Very, very easy. Very, very, very easy to set up these days, especially if you're using a WordPress landing page or a WordPress website. Now, the Audience Insight tool is, like I mentioned before, is a tool that you need to create and check and research about your kind of audiences or the kind of interest or the kind of behavior that you intend to target for your business. You get. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know about the Audience Insight tool. The Audience Insight, you can find it either within the business manager or within your ad set level in your ad account. I'm going to show you guys that also later. I'm sure I'll attack that much later. Now, there's the inspect tool. A lot of people don't pay attention to this inspect tool. I can guarantee you, you can take it to the bank. Now, this inspect tool doesn't come up every time. You have to be looking out for it. It doesn't, if you open a business manager today, you might not find it. It is after you have advertised for a period of time and you have run different kinds of ad sets that you will see the inspect tool. Now, what the inspect tool helps you do, this is high level. This one is, if you don't remember anything, at least remember this one. The inspect tool helps you see what is happening within your ad set. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're running two ad sets and they're targeting similar audiences, so to speak. The inspect tool can tell you if your audience is overlapping. Now, what that means is if your audience is overlapping, it means that you are bidding against yourself. Now, if you put, let's say you're spending 1,000 naira per day on your ads. Let's say you're spending 1,000 naira per day on your ads and you're using 1,000 naira for this ad set, 1,000 naira for this ad set. Now, that 1,000 naira is what you're using to bid against other advertisers, you get. But now, if your audiences are overlapping, it means that the 1,000 naira you're spending, you are also using it to bid against yourself as an advertiser. I hope that is clear. So one thing that the inspect tool helps you do is see if you're overlapping, that's one. Another thing it helps you do is to see the performance of your ads between significant edits. Now, if you edit your audience, that's a significant edit. As soon as you start advertising, that is a significant edit. Now, the inspect tool will help you see, let's say you did an audience edit today, or let's say your ad started running 2 weeks ago, and then today you decide to do an audience edit. Now, after that audience edit, it is the inspect tool that can tell you, okay, this is how your ad performed before the edit and after the edit. So that's why it's important. And I'll show you where you can find it in the business manager. That is one thing that is also going to help you have an understanding, because I like telling people about knowing what to do, knowing and understanding the metrics of their ad before they even do anything. If you're not understanding the metrics, if you're not seeing what is happening within your ad, don't even do anything, because you will just make a mistake and then you'll spoil something that is working. Some of these tools are what helps you, tells you what is happening on your site, on your ad, and within your campaign. Yeah, that is why I listed them here. They are very, very important for you to pay attention to. Now, before you even start running, if you want to be running lead ads directly on Facebook, you don't need the pixel for this. But if you're going to be running lead ads for people who are on Facebook without leaving Facebook, that's why you need your lead form. So it is important to set up your lead form even before. You can set up your lead form even before you run your ad, but you can also set it while building your ad. But to save time and to just make your ad setup clean enough, it is good to have a lead form setup. You get, and then you just set up your ad and you move on with that. Within the business manager, I can't think of anything critical now that you would need to get started. There are other things that you need to look at: conversions, custom conversions, lookalike audiences, and other things. But those lookalike audiences, you can do that within the insight tool. Within the audience insight tool. So that's also covered. But so basically, these are the basic things that you need to get started right. Okay, like I mentioned before, you need a Facebook page. I've told you why your Facebook page is important and what you need to do to set up your Facebook page. So just have that set up even before you get started. Now, the Facebook Pixel Helper is for those who are running ads to a landing page. If you're running your ads to a website, if you're running ads to a landing page, you need to, now this is for you on your computer. Now, it is a Chrome extension. It's a Chrome extension that you install on your Chrome browser. I wish I can show that to you guys. Maybe when I go into the technical work, someone should remind me. I'll show you guys what the Facebook Pixel Helper does and how to install it. Then now, for some WordPress plugins that you will need, there is a lot of them, but to help you set up next thing. But to help you set it up correctly, you need some of these plugins. Some of these plugins are these two plugins are listed here are the same, but you can write them down. They are the WordPress plugins that can help you install your pixel with ease. The Pixel Caffeine, the headers and footers plugins, they will help you set it up easily So it means that your Facebook pixel can communicate with your site, and then your site in turn can then communicate with Facebook. I think these are just the basic plugins that you need with respect to Facebook ads. There are other plugins that you need depending on the kind of campaign that you're running. Let's say you're running a lead generation campaign, for example, and you're running them, let's say you're collecting the leads on GetResponse or Aweber or Active Campaign or any of those other autoresponders, you will need their plugins to be able to do that. And then your payment methods that we talked about earlier. So we'll move on now to your funnel. So I'm not going to spend so much time talking about the funnel because I'm sure you guys understand what the funnel is about. But before you set up your ad, remember, before you set up your ad, you need to think about your funnel. You need to think about your funnel from the beginning, from that red line on this description to the purple line. Think about it in total, like in depth. The reason why I'm saying this is because your funnel design is dependent on the objective of your ad. It is also very important to think about your funnel design carefully because it forms an important metric for the measurement of your ad success. What am I trying to say? If you're running ads for lead generation, for example, and your ultimate goal, so to speak, is to get leads. Now, where do you want those leads? You want them on your WhatsApp? You want them on an email list? You get, or do you just want their phone number? Depending on what you want to achieve, you have to think about it and visualize it even before you wake up and say, I want to set up an ad. You get, from the red line where people come into the last line where people take action, you need to think about it thoroughly. That is the only way you can have a visual imagination of how where your ad is going to come in. The ad is only a step in your funnel design. Your ad is only a path for people to come into your funnel. You get, every other thing that happens within your ad adds to. Okay. Every other aspect of your funnel design adds to the overall conversion of your ad. That's what I mean by ad success. For example, if your ultimate goal might be to make sales, well then you can, depending on what you're promoting, you may not be able to optimize for sales. You might want to optimize for leads and build a list and then sell to that list, which is better overall and over time. Now, if you are optimizing your ad campaign for leads and they're coming into your funnel and they are not converting, remember, that means I'll talk about ad working and ad not working. In that sense, your ad is okay, but it is not completely successful because the idea, the objective that you had in mind before even building the ad is not really being achieved. So your ad may be working in itself, but your entire objective may not be achieved. And then if your ad is, for example, let's say, for example, you set up your ad, you design your funnel in such a way that ad, landing page, WhatsApp. And then you see that in your ad, you're getting a lot of clicks on your ad. You're getting a lot of people, I'm interested. A lot of people saying, okay, show me how. A lot of these things, you're seeing them on the ad. It tells you, it gives, and then your ad, your click-through rate is your cost per lead, your cost per action is very low on Facebook. It tells you that your ad is doing well. But then you're not seeing it reflect on the people who are actually landing in your WhatsApp. Let's say like I said, an example is your funnel is ad to landing page to WhatsApp. You're seeing people actually saying that they're interested and then they are buzzing about your offer, but then they're not clicking through to your landing page. And then that's where your landing page conversion rate also comes into play. But if you notice that, it tells you that your ad might be working, but your entire campaign, your entire objective might be wrong. You now want to look at why people are not actually landing in your WhatsApp. That is when you now begin to be able to troubleshoot your funnel and see. Because you want to make sure that whatever naira, whatever kobo that you spend on Facebook, it is completely optimized. It doesn't make sense to be spending a lot of money to generate leads on Facebook and then let's say a button on your landing page is not working. Okay, that's why you need to pay attention to your funnel. Now, for those who don't understand what a funnel is, just like the illustration you have at the bottom, the red line, on the slide, the red line at the top is where people come into your funnel. Let's say you designed your campaign, you want them to, your funnel is a process that you want to take is the entire journey that a customer will take from the moment they interact with your business to the moment they make a purchase or make the desired action. So for you as an affiliate marketer, you may want people to come and buy a particular product that you're promoting, for example, LAP. Now, when they come into your funnel, from the points they come into your funnel, you need to know how they're going to come in. For example, your ad. Now, when they come into your funnel, what's going to happen next? That's your indoctrination sequence. Let's say they come into they click on your ad, they land on your landing page, they read the content of your landing page or watch the video on your landing page, and then click to your WhatsApp where you're going to share them the LAP webinar link. Now, when you share them the LAP webinar link, you now use the opportunity to follow them on WhatsApp, or your funnel structure could be add to landing page to email list. Then from the email list, you send them the LAP webinar link, and then you follow them on the email. So these are two different variations of your funnel structure that you could decide to have for your offer. You get, I hope that explains that now. And you need to pay attention to this because so many things could go wrong. That is not the problem of the ad, but a problem with your funnel. So you may be thinking, I've been running ads for 7 days now. I'm not getting leads in my WhatsApp, or I'm not getting people coming to my list, or this, or your ad may be working, but somewhere in your funnel, there's a button that might not be working, or your landing page is not convincing enough, or there's something wrong with your entire funnel structure that is causing people to drop off and not actually end up where you want them to end up. Okay, I've even talked a little bit of why your ads may not be converting. Like I mentioned before, there's a difference between my ad is working and my ad is converting. Understanding the difference between these two terms is the first step to actually building an ad campaign you can be proud of. Now, what's the difference between my ad is working and my ad is not converting? Like I mentioned earlier, you could have, let's say, your cost per lead. Let's say you built your ad, for example, and your ad has been running for 5 days now, and your cost per lead is like 20 naira or 30 naira per lead. You'll be proud of yourself and you're saying, yes, this ad is working. But then, the people that are landing in your WhatsApp DM are people who are just there to beg you for 5 naira or beg you for 10 naira because you're telling them that I've been making money for so and so years, or make money online has been helping my life. They say, okay, it has been helping you. Please come and help me too. Those are not the kind of people you want to be landing in your WhatsApp. So it means that your ad might be working, but it is not converting because you're not getting the right kind of people in your DM, or you're not getting the right kind of people in your email list. You get, so you need to understand that difference and know how to troubleshoot from there. You get, so one reason why this could be happening is because you're targeting the wrong audience. Or let's say now for your ad not to be working, it is almost certain that your audience is wrong. Because you create good content in terms of your copy, your flyer, your video, and whatnot. But if you're showing it in front of the wrong audience, then you will not interact with it. Let's say you're talking about make money online, for example, and then you're showing your ads to people in Kano that are interested in cows, people in Kano that are interested in cars, luxury cars, and that are 50 and above. Yet they may not have the time to say, okay, I want to start an online business. Even though there are people of that age that do, but the number of people that will be interested in doing that may be low. So you need to pay attention to the kind of audience you're designing for the kind of offer that you intend to promote. Now, that's where one thing may be wrong. Let me take this question I'm seeing here. Can you talk more on cost per lead and cost per click means? Now, cost per lead is how much you're paying for one person that lands in your DM. Let's say you built your funnel. I talked about funnel before. Let's say your funnel is built in such a way that your ad, they go from your ad to your landing page and then click on a button to land in your WhatsApp. Now, the cost per lead is how much it costs to get one person to land in your WhatsApp if your funnel is to WhatsApp, or the amount of money it costs to get one person to join your email list. Now that is your cost per lead. Now cost per click is how much it costs. Now most people optimize for clicks. If you're doing Google Ads, for example, most people optimize for clicks. Now, cost per click is how much it costs. Now depending on the number of people that have seen your ad, if that's the impression, depending on the number of people that have seen your ad, with the ratio of those who actually click on it. That is what informs your cost per click. So your cost per click is, your lead is a result, your click is an action. Now, people will click on your ad before they land on your landing page, and then the what is there before they become lead. Now, that click that they have done is what the cost per click is. I hope that answers your question. So moving on. Okay, this is where we are. Now, another reason why your ad may not be converting is poor ad in terms of the image, the copy, or the comments. I'm holding the mic to my mouth, so that's why I've been holding it like this since. I hope you guys can still hear me. If you can hear me, please drop 111 in the chat box. Now, poor ad or images or copy or bad comments is one of the reasons why your ad may not be working before you even think about whether it will convert or not. Thank you so much. I can see the 111 in the chat. Now, there's something that Facebook calls ad relevance score. Ad relevance score. If you're running your campaign, if you're running your ad, you should have come across it one time. You should always optimize to have that you have optimize your ads to make sure that you have a high ad relevance score. Now, what this checks is the relevance of the ad, the image or the copy or the videos that you have to the audience you're showing it in front of. If your ad relevance score is high, your cost per lead will reduce. If your ad relevance score is high, your cost per lead, your cost per click, your cost per action will reduce. So it is important to have a good ad, put it in front of the right audience, and your ad can become worker. So if your ad is not working or it's not converting as the overall objective, your ad, you should look at the image. If you're sure the image is good, fine. If you're sure the video is good, fine. If you're sure your copy is good, fine. Then you know that it is not a problem of the ad. And how do you also know that your ad is not working? Let's say you've been running your ads for 3 days now, and your cost per lead is high, or your cost per action is high, your cost per result is high. In terms of, let's say, for the Nigerian market, for example, if your cost per lead is hitting 200, let's say it's hitting 200, you know it is high, but it may be high but converting. Now, if let's say, for example, your cost per acquisition or cost per lead is 200 naira per lead, that's 200 naira per person that lands where you want them to land. And let's say 10 of them, you have 10 people land in your DM and then one of them buys. It means that your conversion rate may be high in terms of 1x or 2x, but your cost per acquisition may be high. I don't know if you get. What I mean is this: how to know that your ad is working or your ad is not poor is if you're having a high cost per lead. For example, 200 naira, 250, 300 naira. If it's as high as 300 naira, please kill it. Please just kill that ad and try to think about everything that you're doing. It could be something, it could be an entire structure, it could be the entire campaign, it could be anything. But if your cost per acquisition is very, very high, you need to shut down, that's about 250 to 300. You should shut it down and review it. But if your ad is within the range of 150 and below, then you should be pretty okay, depending on how much you're spending and depending on the size of your audience. But within that range, you should be pretty okay. So the next thing you should look at is the budget. Now, I was going a little bit into the ad math. Let me see if I can summarize what that is for you. One reason why your ad may not be working may be the size of your budget with respect to the audience that you're promoting against. Let's say, for example, you're running your ad for 1,000 naira per day. Then you have someone that is advertising at 15,000 naira per day. Can you drop me a message in the box and tell me who Facebook will favor more? If you're running your ad at, let's say, 1,015 per day, and you have another advertiser advertising at 15,000 naira per day, who do you think will get the best results? Let me get your response in the chat box, please. Let's do that quickly. Now, a lot of people are saying 15K guy, 15K guy, 15K guy. Now, remember, we're talking about the difference between your ad working and your ad converting. Now, let's look at it critically. The guy with the 15K ordinarily would seem like he's the best person, he's the person that will get the best results.
But you that you, okay, let me not say 1,000 naira, but that's quite low. Let's say 2,000 naira. Someone's advertising at 2,000 naira per day. That person at 15K might be spending a lot more money, but he might not be getting the best kind of result. You that is spending 2,000 naira per day may be getting a better result than that guy spending 15,000 naira. And I will explain. If that guy is spending 15,000 naira as his budget per day and is getting a cost per lead which is high, remember, his cost per lead may be, let's say he's getting his cost per lead at 500 naira, for example, as an example. If it means that if you divide 15,000 naira by 500, it means that it will take him 15,000 divided by 500. So much to help me with that. It means that with your 15,000 naira, you get, I think, 30, correct. You get 30 leads at 15,000 naira per day at 500 naira per lead. Now, imagine you getting your lead at 30 naira per day per lead, or let's say 50 naira per lead, and you're spending 2,000 naira. How many leads would you get? Exactly. So you can see that to a large extent, you might be spending less and gaining more because your cost per lead and your ad is working better than the other guy who's spending much more money but getting lesser results. So that's why your budget is also important in terms of what you see or what you get, but it's also important in relation to your audience size. That guy that is spending 15,000 per day might have an audience size of, let's say, 10 million in his, and sorry, let's say 10 million. I like money too much. Might have like 10 million people in his audience, and Facebook is just blowing his money, getting his money out there. You might have a super targeted audience with a lower budget, and you're getting the best results possible for the amount of money you're spending. So that's why you should also pay attention to your budget in relation to your audience. Now, your landing page, we talked about your landing page, but your landing page could be a very big reason why your ad may not be working or converting. So like I mentioned before, your ad may be doing very, very well. People are clicking through and then getting on your landing page. But for the fact that your landing page is slow to load, some people that your landing page, before it will load, I would have climbed the staircase and come back before the page will load. Now, the host that you're using is also important. The host that you're using influences the load speed or the load time of people. The attention span of people is very, very low. You get, it is very, very low. So you have to make sure that everything you're doing, you're putting the right message in front of them at the right time. So if your landing page load speed is low, it could increase your cost. It could increase your overall conversion ratio of your site. So if your landing page load speed is low, you need to find a way to optimize it. There are plugins that you can use, and it's not coming to my head now, but there are plugins that you can use to boost your landing page speed. And then you could also use the beta host to increase your landing page speed. Now, aside from the speed, another thing that you also need to look at is the content on your landing page. Is the headline? Do I need to change the headline? Do I need to change the headline? Do I need to change the call to action? Do I need to change the color? Because even as far as color, there was a page I used, I think this was about a year ago or so. There was a page I used on the headline section, there was the background was blue, the headline was the same. The headline was the same, but I think the background was blue. But somewhere I read something somewhere. That's why it's good to read. That's why it's good to improve. It's good to continue to gain knowledge. Then it suggested that I use a color code. It is red. It's red, but it's a particular color code for that red. And I changed to that color code, and it was kind of red, and it's improved within like 7 days. By the time I checked the two metrics, that's why it's important to check your metrics. I did not add that to this list. That's why it's important to check your metrics. By the time I checked the metrics, I noticed that by the time from the period that I changed the color behind the headline, and then from what it was before, I saw a like 2 or 5% increase in conversion. So it is important to look at your landing page critically. If it's working, leave it. If it's not working, then you can now look at it and tweak and try to improve on it. You get, like I mentioned, the things you need to check on your landing page is the headline, the color, the text, the copy, and then your call to action. Make sure that they are all on point, and then you're good to go. And then the load speed also. The load time for your landing page is also important. Now, for your landing page, and that thing I also want to add is to ensure that your pixel is working. Your pixel is working. Your
pixel is working. Ensure that your pixel is firing. If your pixel is not firing, you're not reporting back to Facebook what is happening on your on your landing page, and then your ad cost may begin to go high or whatnot. Or even on your landing page too, you might have a button that is not working. Let's say you have a button after a very sweet text, after telling your story and saying, click on this to learn more about my story, and then that click on this is not working. Maybe that button where you add that button is where the conversion might happen, but the link is not there. So you have to make sure that all the buttons on your landing page are working very well. That is important. That's why it's important to test before you even begin to run your ads. Okay, I've mentioned the pixel, that your pixel may not be firing. Now, another thing that helps your conversion is when you're doing retargeting. So if you don't have retargeting, depending on the kind of offer that you're promoting, you need to start thinking about retargeting. Now, you may have your ad working. You are getting hundreds and thousands of people landing on your page, and then your page is converting at 50%, and you're happy. You're doing very well. People are clicking, people are coming in, but then you're currently converting at, let's say, 7%. 7% of people are coming to your landing page and go to watch the webinar, always buy. You're happy, you're making good money, you're converting. But then if you're not retargeting, remember, not everybody that lands on your page will click on the link. Not in short, there's no way you can guarantee 100% click-through rate on your page. But if your click-through rate on your page is greater than 15 to 20%, then you're doing very well. If you can achieve it, most of the landing pages that are built, they always convert more than 50%. Maximum, minimum, but that's about 55%. You get, but if you have a 25%, your page that's converting at 25%, you see quite good. Some people will even tell you 10%. But the bottom line is, if you have 1,000 people land on your page and only 10% of them, that is 100 of them, click through, it means that 900 of them did not click through, but they landed on your page because they were interested. Another thing to do is retarget them, maybe send them to a different page, or send them a different kind of message, or show them a different kind of ad to increase their interest, because a lot of people may not take action immediately. But when they begin to see and remember that, okay, I was interested in this, maybe they saw your ad and you wanted to click on the button, but because of downfall or because of something that's happening in Lagos or one thing that's happening, they just forgot to click on it. But when you do a retargeting, they will now remember, I saw this thing some other time ago and I was interested, and then they go ahead to click. That is the importance of retargeting. You get. Now, another reason why your ads may not be converting is the lazy house. I call it the lazy house because, like I mentioned, your page, your profile, or yes, your Facebook page or your Instagram profile may are important, because some people will land on your page and then they will come back and say, let me see who this person actually is, or let me see what this person is actually saying, or something like that. You get. So if you have a lazy house, let's say your page, there's no header, there's no profile picture, there's no content on your page, it's just there. Some people say that this person is not even serious. But if you have authority on your page, if you have, Kenny is one person that I know that knows how to do authority branding. But if you have the right message on your page, if you have the right message on your page, if you have the right message on your profile, if you have, it doesn't have to be fantastic. It doesn't have to be over the moon. It just has to be something of high quality. You get, and it is related to the kind of message you're passing across. You cannot have a page of talking about make money online, talking about sales and marketing, and then you're promoting a product on health. It's the message is quite off. You get, it may work, but you're just wasting money, so to speak. So it is important to have your house in order, even while running your ad, because it adds to a certain level it has a certain level of percentage to the things or to the actions that people take on your ad. That's why people save ads. I know if you've been running ads, you see that some people save your ad. People are saving your ad. That's one of the reasons why people save, because they want to come back and check you out. So now let's go to one of the main reasons why a lot of people are scared of Facebook. This topic cannot be stressed. Like, if you give me 3 hours, I'll still be talking about this particular topic. Yes.
to be talking about this particular topic. That's why I try as much as possible to summarize this into lines. When it comes to protecting yourself on Facebook, there's so many things that you need to do. If you're actually serious about being an advertiser on Facebook, you have to do them. You don't have a choice. If not, they'll kick you out without you thinking. They will kick you out. Before you even know what is happening, sometimes you just get banned. Maybe your ad has been running for days, and then you just wake up one morning and see the ad no longer running. You say the ad has been disapproved. Because you do it well from the beginning. You might sleep under the bots. Maybe the bots will approve it. Then after a couple of days, you disapprove it again because it's something that you didn't do right from the beginning. But let's start with this. There are a great number of reasons why. There are a great number of reasons why Facebook will restrict your profile, page, ad account, or business manager. I think I didn't travel my mic, so that's why I'm using this. So just pardon me with my voice for now. There are a great number of reasons why Facebook restrict your profile, page, ad account, or business manager. Your goal as an advertiser is to make sure those reasons are reduced to the nearest minimum so you can make it difficult for them by following simple rules and practices. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. 95% of restrictions on Facebook are done by the Facebook bots, and you need to understand how these bots think to even come close to avoiding the ban. Think of Facebook, I've mentioned this before. Think of Facebook as a father who is very protective of his child. You have to make sure that you do everything within the rules before they can even consider leaving you alone. Even though they're always checking, they're always scrutinizing you. You have your profiles, your accounts, your pages. Everything is being scrutinized every day. Sometimes when I'm even clicking buttons on the business manager, I feel like Mark is standing behind me, checking everything that I'm doing. But there are ways to protect yourself. There's an under the radar trick you also need to learn to keep your ad account away from the eyes of the Facebook bot. I'll tell you about this trick much later if you stay to the end of this presentation. I'll tell you about that much later. But let's talk about protecting yourself on the Facebook account. I'm sure you would have gotten this message. I wrote this down specifically to bring your mind back to say, stop being in a hurry. Don't rush. Don't say, let's do it now. Let's get it. We go rush in and rush out. You get, there are things that you need to understand. For example, for your profile is your main Facebook profile, yeah, and then your page, and then your ad account, and then your business manager. For your profile, if your date of birth is 1st of February 1990, that's the date of birth on your international passport or your driver's license or whatnot. If that is what it is on the profile that you want to use for a very long time, if you know you want to protect that profile, make sure that your birthday on that profile is 1st of January 1990. Exactly. Not January 1st, 1990. Remember, 0101 is similar, but make sure that you're putting the right day on the day column and the right month on the month column. Because when you're doing your identity verification, it is the bot that checks it. And if it sees a difference between the two, boom, permanent restriction. So make sure that your date, your day of birth, and your month of birth and your year of birth match the exact columns on Facebook. Now, aside from that, another thing, this is just basic, I'm telling you now, for your profile. Aside from that, the name, remember I said the profile that you want to keep for a very long time. The name on your government issued ID, driver's license, national ID, permanent voters card, let the name be no sexy, let me look for a female name here, sexy Amaka 2022 or something like that. Don't use that for your profile. Be as professional as you can, be as professional as you need to be, and then have a profile picture that is clear enough, that is picking up your face, not your features, your face as clear enough. Because when they are doing your identity verification, they are going to match those things, those details, your name, date of birth, and profile picture to what you have posted as your ID. You get. So make sure that it is as aligned. For name, if you have changed your name, if you have changed your name from what it was to what it is, what you have now on your national ID, change your name on Facebook to it. You get whatever it is that is showing on the ID you intend to provide to Facebook. Make sure that the ID is valid. Whatever ID that you intend to provide to Facebook, make sure that the exact name there is what is showing on your Facebook profile. And that's for your profile. And then for your page, I mentioned a couple of things earlier, but I'll mention them again. Your header should be there, your profile picture should be there, your bio should be there, your number should be there, your website should be there. Even if you don't have a website, put google.com there. Just make sure that there's something there. You get, or even a link to your WhatsApp profile, put it there. You get, if you are building a, I'll talk about that later, but if you're building a lead form, make sure that you use privacy policy page. Just find one, find a way, even if it's to card.co. Let's say card.co is a free page builder. Build a card.co page and put your terms and conditions there. You get your terms and conditions, put it there, and put that link to your privacy policy page on your Facebook form. It is important. So Facebook knows that you are bothered and you're concerned and you're interested in protecting the privacy and the information that you're collecting from them. It is important. Some people just build their Facebook form and then they leave that part out. It is one of the reasons why they'll come back and check that this person wants to use the details he's collecting or the details she's collecting for something else. So make sure that you have your privacy policy there too. Now that's for your page. Now for your ad account. For your ad account, there are I've listed a couple of things. I'm just off the top of my head in case there's any I didn't capture. I've listed a couple of things that you need to do, but off the top of my head, I'm trying to list a couple of things so that if I missed any before, I'll mention it now. Now, for your ad account, number one, don't spend too much too quickly. Don't spend too much too quickly. Don't spend too much too quickly. What do I mean? If you have an ad account that has been old and you've been spending an average of 20,000 a day, 50,000 a day, 100,000 a day, and then you wake up one morning and you want to spend 500,000 a day on an account that you've been spending 100,000 a day. Card, CARD.co. You get, and you wake up one morning and you want to spend something that is 2 times or more above your normal expense, daily expense. Facebook, first of all, when you're building the ads, Facebook will put it there that you are going above your this, it will allow you to continue, but it will be there, even though it will allow you to continue, but it is one thing that will bring you above the Facebook radar. I didn't put a radar design here, but I'm sure you know what a radar is. If you have, let's say this is a complete circle, and then you've been averaging just somewhere in the middle of that circle. Just within that circle, as soon as you go above that circle, everybody eyes are on you. So that's what I mean by going above the radar and within the radar. So don't spend too much too quickly, or don't go too far high above your current ad spend daily on that ad account. That is one thing that can easily Facebook to pick you up and say, what's this person trying to do? You get, what is this person trying to do? So for your ad account, try as much as possible to not spend too quickly and then not go above your daily ad spend so much. Now, if you are the kind of person that wants to over time spend more than 50,000 naira, 100,000 naira a day on your ads, it is okay to start with it. From the beginning, start with that amount so that you can scale quickly. But if you want to be spending an average of 1,000 to 20,000 a day on your ads, is fine. But start something close to the maximum you want to start spending a day. For example, if you have the kind of money that you want to be spending 10,000 a day on ads, or you want to be spending 20,000 a day, if you build a fresh ad account, try to start as close to it so that Facebook recognizes from the beginning that this person wants to spend a lot of money, and then they can now push your buffer. There's something called account spending limit. Your account spending limit will be a little bit high as you progress. So have that at the back of your mind while you're setting up your ad account. Now, for your business manager, one thing that is important, I keep telling people this: if you want to run ads for a very long time, people I've made that mistake on certain business managers. But if you want to run your business manager for a very long time, do not be the only person in that business manager. Do not be the only person in that business manager. Make sure that there are at least 2 other people in that business manager who can run ads, who, as the one I mean by can run ads, who are not restricted, who don't have any policy violation or anything. Try as much as possible to at least have one
If you can have two, fine. But I'll show you all of that when we go to the technical walkthrough. Let me take some of the questions I'm seeing here quickly. First of all, privacy policy explanation. How do I explain this now? Privacy policy, if you have a website, if you have, it's one of the things that you have as part of the pages on your website where you talk about how you're going to use people's information. You can easily get sample privacy policies on Google. Just type on Google privacy policy sample. It will give you some samples which you can now edit to suit your taste, and then you can now put it on a landing page. Now, that is what the privacy policy is. Now, sir, can you talk more on the importance of car.co and the privacy policy form? Like I mentioned before, I will show you, I'll try as much as possible to show you how to set up a lead form. That's if you're running Facebook directly. That's running ads for leads directly on Facebook without taking them to a landing page. While you're building a lead form, it is important to put that privacy policy link. Like I mentioned just now, if you build a privacy policy page, have the link, there's a space provided for that link. Make sure that you put it there. Then that's that. It is important to have that so that Facebook knows that you intend to manage the data that you're collecting correctly. You get. So is it good to increase budget while ads are going on? Yes, it is good to increase your budget while your ads is going on and it is running well. But make sure that you keep it within the 25% rule. I talked about that much later in the slides. We'll get there. You can have more pages for a profile. Yes, you can have multiple pages on a profile. Is it possible to be mentioning some of the charges in dollars? Because I believe that's how it's been charged on Facebook. No, I will show you how to create a Naira account. I'm sure these days with the restrictions we have on the Naira in Nigeria, it is easy, it is better, especially if you're just getting started, to do your ads in Naira. You set up your ad account to be charging you in Naira. I'll show you guys how to do that. It's part of the technical walkthrough. So in terms of dollars, just convert it to Naira. Isn't having other people on the business manager scale, so you could be playing by the rules while they are not. That is why I said having people who can advertise, who have their profiles within, who are not restricted in your business manager. They don't have to be doing anything.
A minute, Ben. I
Yes.
just want to say that while he mentions Naira for sample case, please feel free to put your country's currency where he mentions Naira, although the major currency of conversation is US dollars. But then for people in different parts of the Africa, you could easily just put in your country's currency, or even if you're watching from outside of Africa. So please, let's have that in mind. It is not purely Naira thing. So just calculate it for
Even me, sir, I don't like the Naira.
Yeah, all right. Please go on. Keep frying us while you do.
Okay, so where did I stop? From Ghana, carousel and single picture, which one is better? Just test. Okay, I'll talk about 25% rule later. I think it was sense. I'll talk about that later. Please, okay, no problem. Okay, I've taken as much. I don't want it to go too far up. That's why I decided to take some of them now. Now, okay. Now, if you don't want Facebook to sprinkle this ban on you like this guy here in this illustration, try as much as possible to not do any of this. And I'm going to explain each and every one to the best of my ability within the short period of time. Now, some of the reasons your account will get banned is frequent violation of the Facebook policy by your profile. Now, at the end of this presentation, I have some notable links that you need to use. Go and read the Facebook policy. Go and read it. If you have consistent violations of Facebook policy by your profile or by your page, as I have it, one or two, they will definitely get you banned. You get. And then violation of policy could be anything. Advertising products that are banned on Facebook, not following the community guidelines, and a lot of other things. Read the Facebook policy and stay within the Facebook policy guidelines. That's one of the easiest things that will get you restricted, either by your profile. Now, when I say by your profile, it means either you're associated with an account that is restricted, or associated with a page that is restricted, or just basically doing spammy things. Even doing spammy things. Let's say, some people try to do organic kind of marketing, and then you just take one kind of content and then you're posting it everywhere without editing it or without being sensible about it. Facebook will pick it up. Facebook doesn't like people spammers, so to speak. So if you're already doing that as someone who's trying to be an organic marketer, someone who's trying to generate leads organically, and then you now want to become a Facebook advertiser, paying to reach more people, then they will already flag you from that point. So try as much as possible to stay within the Facebook policy and the Facebook guidelines. It will help you a lot in terms of your profile. Now, in terms of your page, some posts that you make, you don't post things that are related to alcohol, you don't that support, not related to that support or promote alcohol. You don't post things that promote prohibited goods and all those things. There are certain things that you shouldn't post, and there are certain things that you shouldn't. So certain words, for example, that you shouldn't use when creating your ads. That's why they get banned. You get. I talked about it later, so we'll get there. Frequent violation of the Facebook community guidelines. That's simple. So these three things, there's a link I will share with you guys to go to the Facebook profile. If you want to play on Facebook, come on, why not read their rules? If you want to be in their environment, it makes sense that you read their rules and understand what is obtainable. At least first have a mental image or mental illustration of what it is or what they are before you start before you even start playing in their backyard. Now, too many or consistent disapproved ads. This is one reason it is the easiest way for Facebook to say this person is not serious. Let the person just stop advertising. They're just going to restrict you once and for all. Now, what to do when your ads is being approved is when I talked about the trick or the hack to stay under the radar. I'm going to leave that for later. So you guys pay very, very much attention. But make sure that you don't get your ads approved. That's why I took time to explain what you need to do before you even start running your ads. If you do them well and if you do them correctly, pay attention to the words in your copy. Don't make it sound like you know exactly who you're talking to. For example, are you a mother with 3 kids trying to get a 4th child? That is too specific. Facebook doesn't like that. Or are you a struggling intern that wants to make 10,000 a day fast? Facebook doesn't like that. You try as much as possible to do your copywriting in a way that seems like you're speaking to a wide range of people, but not particularly targeting their race, ethnicity, or disability. Those 3 things. So that's why I said from the beginning that there are so many things that you need to think about as an advertiser on Facebook, but make sure that you do them. That is one of the ways to maintain your level above water, get the results that you want, and make sure that they don't come for you also. You get. So before you even start running your ads, make sure that you don't have disapproved ads. I get ads disapproved, but it is very, very minute. If Facebook disapprove my ad, before they even disapprove it, I would even know or have an idea of what to change. Sometimes I would just say, take and try. If they approve it, fine. But that one, I'll write it down somewhere that this particular ad, this is what I did, this is what I think could get a flag. So that if they say this ad is not approved, I just leave it. Now, another thing that you need to also do, please remember this. Please remember this. If you get your ad disapproved, and you know what you're doing, like you know how you built your copy, you know how you built your flyer, you know you're not violating their policies and all that, and you know what to change. If your ad is disapproved, please delete it. Do not ask for a review immediately. Delete it and create a fresh ad. That is one way to help yourself. Because if you leave it there and ask for a review, they may not approve it still. Or you edit that same ad and then ask for a review, they may not approve it still. You now start thinking what is wrong, or you say you don't know what is wrong, or you don't know what's happening. It is best to delete it and clean up your ad account. That helps you clean up your ad account. If you have an ad disapproved, before you reinvent it, maybe you save the copy, you save the flyer, you save some other things that you know what you want to change. Delete it. That's part of the trick that I talked about, but make sure that you keep the number of disapproved ads in your profile. Yes. Make sure that you have the number of disapproved ads in your account at the very, very barest minimum. There's a place in account quality where I'll show you guys also that you also have to pay attention to. I'll show that to you guys when we get to account quality because it's part of the technical walkthrough. So that's that. And then your verification status is one of the reasons why. So one thing that I also recommend is even before you begin to run ads, like I said, make sure that your profile
name, your date of birth, your picture, and all those things are intact. And if you can, there's a place within the Facebook profile that I wish I can show you guys that, but maybe I'll do that later, where you can ask for verification. That doesn't mean that Facebook will not ask you for verification later, but it's a way to get started. So if your verification status is not clean enough, or when they pause your ad, because if you've been running ads for a while, they may get you to a point, it may get to a point where Facebook will restrict your account and ask you to verify your identity. You get, if your verification status is not clear enough and your what's it called? Your verification status is not clear enough and your details are not aligned, you may not get an account back. But if your details are clear enough and it is easy for them to verify you, then you are good to go. Association with restricted accounts or persons. Now, what I mean by this is restricted ad account. Let's say you've been advertising on an ad account, or someone added you to an ad account and you were advertising and the account got restricted. It is best to save yourself an entire thread. If that ad account gets restricted and your profile is still fine, disassociate yourself from that ad account while the person is trying to recover that ad account. It is better and safer for you. You get, because if that ad account gets restricted, you create another ad account and start running ads from that account. You might be fine, but somewhere along the line, when the bot is doing a check, it may see that you have an association with an account that has already been restricted, and it should not help your case. So it is better to, when you have another account that is restricted and your profile is still fine, your page is still fine, it is just the other account that is restricted, disassociate your page and your profile from that other account that is restricted and continue your business on another ad account while whoever it is that has that ad account is trying to recover it. You get. So that's one thing that can also be bad for you. Inauthentic behavior is, how do I explain inauthentic behavior now? I'm trying so hard to find the easiest word, but there's something called inauthentic behavior where you are trying to be who you're not, so to speak. Another thing that is associated with this inauthentic behavior is having multiple profiles with the same name. Facebook doesn't like it, whether you like it or not. I know that a lot of us have different profiles and different names, but Facebook doesn't like it, and they call it inauthentic behavior. So try as much as possible not to have too many profiles with the same name and same profile picture, because somehow they will flag it and block the two accounts somehow over time. So it is better to have similar profiles, fine, but don't let them be too exact. And if you want to have different profiles, make sure that you have different identifications for them. That's all I'll say regarding that. People have begun to find ways to get identification for that, but I'm not going to go into that all right now. Now, scaling too fast. I've talked about scaling too fast. Okay, I haven't. Now, scaling too fast is while your ad is running and you want to scale that ad. I talked about the 25% rule. It is better to stick with that 25% rule, which is if you're running your ad at $10 a day, for example, if you want to scale that ad, scale it with the 25% rule, meaning if you want to increase your budget per day to 12.5% first, and let it run for like a day or two. After, let's say you're running your ads at $10 a day and you want to get it to $20 a day, instead of going from $10 to straight to $20 a day, especially when your ad account spending limit is very low, instead of doing that, go with the 25% rule. So first of all, you do 12.5%, let it run for a day or two. Remember, don't be in a hurry. They don't like people coming and doing as if they just want to come in and go out. That's another reason for inauthentic behavior. They just feel like you want to pour in money, get something and get out. The algorithm doesn't like that. So it's better to do 12.5 a day for like a day or two. Then you can now go to $15 a day for like a day or two. It may take time, but it is better. It's better to have a longer time and your account is still running, your ad is still running, you still have something to fall back to, and scale too fast and then they cut you off. So just stick with that 25% rule and you should be fine. So low ad account quality. There's something called account quality. I'll show you guys that page much later. But if your ad account quality is very low in terms of on your ad, if you go to account quality, you will see policy violations over the last 6 months. If it is too high, your account quality is already low. So make sure that your policy violations is kept at the barest minimum. For me, if I see within 6 months, I have just 5 policy violations. I feel that account is still fine, but I think I can do better with that account. So that account quality page is one page that I go to check very, very often. Now, too many failed payments is one thing you don't want to have. That's why from the beginning, I said, before you even begin to run your ads, make sure that you have your payments ready. You have a ready payment method, whichever payment method you want to use, you have it ready to go. So make sure that if having failed payments is not a bad thing, but make sure that it's not too much and it doesn't last more than 7 days. Why did I say it doesn't last more than 7 days? For 2 reasons. One, it tells Facebook that you want to give them their money fast. 2, your ad, if your ad was running, remember this, if your ad was running and then your ad stopped running because of a failed payment, make sure that ad starts running again, or make sure you complete that payment and get the ad up and running before 7 days. Because after 7 days, your ad is going to go back into the learning phase, and you don't want that to happen. Because if your ad has been running for like 2 weeks, depending on your budget, if your ad has been running for like 2 weeks, it must have left the learning phase, because your ad goes through the learning phase and goes into this optimization phase, and it goes to the scaling phase. So when your ad is in the optimization phase, you don't want it to go back into the learning phase, because it's going to waste more of your money, or going to take more of your money, so to speak. So that's one thing that you need to keep in mind. If you have a failed payment, make sure that you try as much as possible to resolve it within the next 7 days. Even if you need to pause the ad, or you don't have money to continue paying for it, just make sure that you pay for it. Make sure that it activates. It becomes, you see that green button, make sure it comes green again and shows active. Leave it for some hours, and then you can now pause it and then try to get some more money. That's fine. But make sure that within 7 days, you sort it out and make sure that it doesn't fall back into the learning phase, and then don't have too many failed payments in a row. Then, okay, don't promote blacklisted products or links. One thing that I know that we do, some people do, you see a copy, you see an ad, you see a picture, you see a flyer, you see a video that a lot of people are promoting. Keep an eye on that product. Keep an eye on that ad creative. If you're getting people restricted from promoting that particular video, flyer, ad, copy, or whatnot, if their accounts are getting restricted by promoting those things, whether they are getting restricted for something that's not related to that ad or not, try as much as possible not to promote those links on product, because they will also come for you. That is what they call association also, being associated with restricted accounts or persons. So if you can, as much as possible, create genuine content in terms of links, in terms of flyers, in terms of promotion materials, fine. But if you're promoting a blacklisted, if you're using blacklisted creatives, they will come for you. If you're promoting blacklisted products like alcohol and all the other stuff, they will come for you. If you're promoting a link that is blacklisted, they will come for you. Some years back, Facebook did not like shortened links, even till now. Personally, I don't use it. I don't use shortened like bit.ly and all the other types. I don't use it. I have a URL shortener on my domain that I use for if I want to have shortened links and then track the number of clicks on that link. But using bit.ly and co, for me, I don't recommend it, because Facebook does not really like it. It looks like inauthentic behavior, because they're trying to cloak something. That is how I feel Facebook interprets it. But for other links and domains that have been flagged, that have been blocked, make sure that whatever it is that you want to promote, if it's a link or a domain or whatnot that you want to promote on it, make sure that the link is not flagged by Facebook. You get, so this is one thing that can also get you banned. Now, another thing is your two-factor authentication. Before you even start running ads, I think I should add that at the beginning of this slide. Before you even start running ads, make sure that your profile and your business manager is two-factor authentication enabled. For 2 reasons. One is Facebook feels that you're bothered about protecting yourself from hackers and all those things, all those people that want to take control of your account. And then it also tells Facebook whenever you log in from multiple locations, which is the last point on this. When you're logging in, let's say you don't have two-factor authentication enabled, and then you log in on this laptop and or this computer or this location, and then you send your login details to someone somewhere else, maybe in a different country or a different place, and then the person also logs in. Facebook sees it, but they monitor it to know if it's the same person. But if you have two-factor authentication enabled, and then Facebook If Facebook sees that you impute a two-factor authentication, it gives them a sense of understanding that, okay, fine, this person that actually has this account authorize this other person to log in, or is the same person logging from this different place or whatnot. So it helps Facebook see clearly in terms of who is accessing your account or who is accessing your business manager. Now, for flagged IPs, I don't know how you get to determine if your IP is flagged, but somehow you will know from your usage. Let's say you were using, that's why some people recommend that before you start doing stuff, you change your line. Let's say you create another account today. By tomorrow, without even doing anything, Facebook has blocked that account. It could be traced to your IP. It could be traced to your IP. You get. So if it's your IP that is an issue, maybe you should change your line for the ads that you're trying for the internet, the network. Let's say you're using a particular network and you understand that the IP for that network is blocked. Maybe you should change your line for when you want to run ads, use a different line so it will show a different IP. Some people recommend using a different browser, but for me, I feel it's the same IP. There's only one browser that I use that I feel gives me that representation of a different IP. You get, but it is not 100% free. It is still partly paid, but maybe when we get there, I'll show it to you guys. But yeah, if you have an IP that you think is flagged, the best thing you can do is to change the line that you use to access Facebook, change the line, get internet, or change the internet provider, and you should be fine. Do I have anything more? Okay. Assumptions about your audience in the ad. Now, I mentioned something similar to this earlier, which is stating things like, are you a mother of four looking for your fifth child? I have something to help you get pregnant fast. That is a perfect description of an individual. And if you're making that assumption, Facebook doesn't like it. You get, if you're making, let's say, or you use things like, since we're doing affiliate marketing, if you use things like make $10,000 in a month guaranteed, or are you broke and looking to make $10,000 in a month guaranteed? Facebook doesn't like statements like that. You could say things like, what if I tell you about a proven process that helps ordinary individuals make 10,000 monthly? That is almost the same message, but it is not coined in the same way that you're saying this is exact, this is guaranteed, this is assured, because they will liken it to Ponzi schemes. They will liken it to make multi-level marketing. If you read the policies, it will show you that, it will tell you that they don't like assumptions and MLMs and all these other things. But if you coin your message the right way, telling them that you're only recommending something that you think can help, have that in mind when you're building your copy or your headline, your flyer or whatnot. Have that in mind that even though you know it works, but Facebook doesn't want you to tell their people that you know it works. You get, have it in mind that you're only trying to recommend a helpful product, because that is basically what affiliate marketing is in the first place. So try as much as possible to make it look like you're recommending to a wide range of people, not a specific particular set of people, in terms of their status, in terms of their ethnicity, in terms of their race, in terms of their abilities, that are disabled or not, in terms of, there's one more thing, but I can't remember that now. But basically, try as much as possible not to make assumptions of the people, or something like, if you are based, or I know you are in Accra, something like that. Even though your targeting is for people who are in Accra, but mention it directly to say, I know you're in Accra. You could say, if you are in Accra. That is a better way to put it. But saying this in that you are in Accra right now, and I know that you're looking for ways to make money, that one will not fly. Now, landing page quality and bounce rate. I've talked about this before. The quality of your landing page is also something that Facebook will use to ban you. They will scan your landing page. If there's no quality content on that page, they will come for you. It may not be high risk. But it is one of the reasons why they could ban your account. Now, if your bounce rate is high, that is one of the reasons why they could ban your account. Let's say you have multiple pages coming from that same domain. I hope you guys understand what that means, but if you have multiple pages in one domain, let's say you have google.com, and then you have google.com/pay, you have google.com/pay now, You have google.com/pay tomorrow. All those are different pages. Now, if you have multiple pages that are coming from that same domain, and then the bounce rates are high, they will flag that domain and they will come for you. If that domain is verified on that business manager, they will come for you. Yeah, so running ads to a flag domain, like I mentioned just now, is another thing that could get you banned. So make sure that if your domain is registered, if you're registering a fresh domain for this, you don't have an issue. You know it is fresh. You know how to minimize the risks. You know what to do to make sure that your domain doesn't get flagged with Facebook. All you just need to do is make sure that you have quality content. Make sure that the audience retention, which is your bounce rate. When I say bounce rate is the length of time people spend on your page before they leave. Let's say you're running ads to a landing page for them to go to WhatsApp. Now, the amount of time they spend on your page before they click that button and end up in WhatsApp is your bounce rate, whether you like it or not. Or the length of time they get to your page, read the content and don't take an action and leave, maybe go back to Facebook or whatnot. That is the bounce rate. That's the amount of time they spend on your page before moving on to other things, whether it is your call to action or back to what they were doing. That is what bounce rate is. So make sure that your bounce rate is above 6 seconds. That is going to help you a lot. Now, negative feedback on your ad. While running your ads, you will get negative feedback. There's no way, especially if you are promoting make money online. Some people will say, has your family been successful with this? Why are you showing this if you think you're so many other comments? If you have too many negative feedback on most of your ads, they will come for you. You get, so try as much as possible to make sure that your ad, first of all, is relevant to the audience you're promoting it to, and make sure that your quality of your ad is high. Because if the quality of your ad, let's say you have a very good flyer that you cannot even doubt. Come on, the kinds of flyers and content that Mr. Sam puts out is something that when you see it, you know that it's high quality. You even doubt yourself before you doubt whatever he is saying. You get, so if the content quality of your flyers and content is high, the doubts, the first of all, that doubt is first of all reduced, and then when they see the content of your copy and all that, it will limit the kind of negative feedback you will get first. But then if you now have good content on your page to support it, good content on your profile to support it, then that's fine. You get, but try as much as possible not to have negative feedback on your ad. But one thing that people also do, which I also recommend if you don't have the strength, to counter the negative feedback. Because another thing is, if you have negative feedback on your ad, if you counter it, if you have something to say, if you have something to prove that, or just responding to negative feedback also helps you. So, or responding to comments on your ad even also helps you. But if you can't counter it, you can also hide it. Even though the person that sent it will see, but you, that's what they call page management, you can also hide some of those content, but Facebook will still see it. So it's better not to have them at all. Now, misleading information in the ad. I talked about this a little bit in terms of make $1,000 guaranteed or make $10,000 guaranteed. Some of these things are termed as misleading information or assumptions that are not correct. Let's say you say, that's why it's good to do your research while writing your copy. Let's say, for example, you are saying something like 10,000 people have used this before and 10,000 people have not used it before. That is a misleading information. And if it's something that Facebook can verify, they will tag it as misleading information and then they will restrict your account or block your ad or disapprove the ad, depending on the decision that they take. So I've listed out some of all these things, and I'm sure that if you have this in mind, it will help you to a large extent stay within and under the Facebook radar. So I'm going to talk about some of the things that you can do to protect yourself. But before I go, let me see if I can take some questions here. For some audience, look alike audience and pixel track mixture. How do we get better conversion from them? So regarding changing the IP, you can also use Kaspersky VPN, which comes because well, using a VPN can help you. If you maintain it, make sure that you are not bouncing off different IPs. It will also get you flagged. Does Facebook mark someone's laptop that have been used to open more than 5 accounts that ends up being restricted and banned? If you've opened 5 different accounts that end up being banned, it's probably that your IP has been flagged. It's possible that the IP has been flagged. Possible. You open this, they ban it. You open this, they ban it. You open this, they ban it. It's possible that the IP has been flagged. So let's move to, if you want to dance like this, you're glad by the side of the road. Don't focus too much on the IP. Just focus on the things that you are doing, make sure you're doing the right things. If you're doing the right things, they will not even ban you, so you're not even bother about the IP. So track it from the roots. Bother about the things that you're doing, make sure that you're doing it right. Then you can now start thinking about IP and all those other things. No, I didn't say having so many pages on a particular theme is not a good idea. Please don't get me wrong. I never said having many pages on a particular domain is not a good idea. I only said promoting pages that have been flagged is not a good idea. I'm saying if your bounce rate on multiple pages is high, is not a good idea. So if you have multiple pages on a domain, make sure that the pages on that domain are good. Make sure that they are high quality. I didn't say having multiple pages on a domain is not a good idea. Please don't quote me. Yeah, so you can have multiple pages on your domain. It's fine. Just make sure that as you're building different pages, make sure that they are high quality. So for you to start dancing and keep on being within the Facebook policies, now to protect your business from Facebook ban, that's yourself and your business manager. Number one, read the Facebook policies. Make sure that you read the Facebook policies and know what they're even saying. I don't want Facebook to ban me. I don't want Facebook to ban me. But what are they even telling you not to do? It's when you know the rules, first of all, then you cannot begin to know how you can stay within the rules. You get. Now, number two is also read the Facebook policy, because I cannot stress that enough. Now, after reading them, make sure that you follow them. Follow the Facebook policies. After reading them and understanding what they are, follow them. Now, another thing you can also do is carefully warm up your page and ad account. Now, within the 30 days plan that I designed for this presentation, you will do this without stress. With the 30 days plan that I will show you shortly, you will do this without stress. Now, I'm trying to speed up because we are stressed for time. Make payments on time. I've said this before. Make sure that you make payments on time, or use the prepaid option. Now, the prepaid option is what I talked about when you're creating an IRA account, where you can fund. I'm sure you can do this with other African countries and other countries too, where you fund the account with a certain amount of money, and then when you run ads, Facebook charges that prepaid account so that they don't have to bother about charging your card or paid issues and all that. So if there's money in the account already, all they just need to do is charge the prepaid account. Now, avoid multiple ad rejections. I've mentioned it before. Try as much as possible to avoid it as much as you can. Then avoid restricted accounts. If your profile is attached to an account and that account gets restricted, disassociate yourself from that restricted account and continue your business. Have multiple admins on your page. Yes, this is important because if your profile, let's say you have 3 admins on a page and one person gets restricted, the other 2, if there are other 2 who are not restricted, they will not restrict that page. That one is almost guaranteed. So you have multiple people on a page who have not been restricted, Facebook will keep that page active because of the other 2 admins. Make sure they are admins. The other 2 admins on the page who are not restricted, they may not restrict that page. You get, so that's why it's important to have multiple admins on your page. If it's just you and you get restricted, it will come for that page now or later, whenever, as long as your profile is restricted and that page you're the only admin, it will come for that page much later. Now, have multiple people in business manager. It is for the same reason you should have multiple people in your business manager. I will show you how to do this when we go to the technical walkthrough. Just remember, I will talk about it definitely. Create and warm up multiple ad accounts. Now, this is another way to promote and protect yourself. If you have a business manager setup, that is one of the reasons why I recommend a business manager, because you can have multiple ad accounts. So if you have multiple ad accounts within your business, and if you create a fresh business account or fresh business manager, you can only create one ad account. Now, if you create one ad account and you make successful payments, it will give you an opportunity to create a second one. If you continue making more, you can create more ad accounts. So it is better to create multiple ad accounts and warm them up so that if one gets restricted, every other thing is okay. You can move to the next ad account and continue your business. It is one thing you can also do to protect your business and make sure that your business keeps on running. Now, avoid spamming the same post or ad. Now, what this means is if you are posting the same thing on different pages, Facebook will see it. It's their platform. They see everything that is happening. Whatever click you click on the platform, they see it. So the same post, let's say you have the same ABC, you carry it from this page and paste it on this page, they will see it, they will know. Or
you carry this text ABC from this group and paste it on this group. You as an individual now, not your page profile or not your page or ad account, your profile, if you're posting on multiple groups and you take the same text ABC from this group, paste it on a different group, they will see it. So avoid being spammy in whatever form or in whatever way. That is one way to keep yourself under the radar too. Now, scale your ad with the 25% rule, which is something I've mentioned before. That way, when you want to increase your budget, if it's $10 a day, go with $12 a day for like 2 days, then go to $15 a day for like 2 days and continue like that. That way you will be fine. Now, avoid two-factor authentication. Activate two-factor authentication before you share your login details. This is important for you to do. If you want to share your login details or you want to log in on multiple locations or multiple IDs or multiple IPs, make sure that you activate two-factor authentication before you do this. It tells Facebook that, okay, it is the same person and not hackers trying to have access to your account or anything like that. Then use a privacy policy page in lead forms. I talked about that extensively already. So let me move to the next page, and don't overuse personal words like you, yours, and all that. I've talked about this also. When you're trying to create your ad copy, don't try as much as possible to direct your comments to one person. Even sometimes when I put my call to action in my copy, I say things like, if this sounds like you, click the link below. If this sounds like something you want to achieve, click this link below. I try as much as possible to avoid it. And then the number of view in a text, I've seen a document or when someone said that you should not have more than 5 views. Me, I've not experimented this, so it's only a thought. But what I know is that I avoid doing, and it has worked for me over time, is I try as much as possible to reduce the you and the yours in your copy. There are so many ways you can write your copy without specifying you, like saying, I want to do this for you. I can say, I want to do this for anyone who wants to improve their life. You're still saying the same thing, and the person reading it will know that you're talking to them, but you're not specifically saying you. You get, so try as much as possible not to overuse personalized words like that. Now, maintain the 20% text rule. That is on your flyer or your image on your ad. Try as much as possible to keep only 20% text. There are tools on Google that you can search for. I've forgotten the website now. I don't want to think because I'm trying to round up quickly. Maintain the 20% text rule. There are tools online that you can use to check your ad image to see whether it's within the 20% text rule. So you can check. What that means is only 20% text of the entire image only 20% of the entire image should carry text. That's one rule that has been there for a very long time, but these days they're beginning to calm down on it a bit. But if you can achieve that, fine. If you can't, just try as much as possible not to go beyond 50%. Now, ensure the landing page has content that can keep users for more than 5 seconds. Yeah, I've talked about that before. Ensure content on landing page supports the content on the ad. I've talked about that before, especially your headline and the text. Make sure that what you have on the page, to a very large extent, corroborates with what you have on the ad. If your ad is saying make money online, let the landing page not go and say buy a health product. So that is very, very different for what you're talking about. If the headline says skills to improve your online business, your headline can say top skills to improve your online business, or your headline can say something related. Now, be careful with the use of capitalization and emojis in your ad copy. Yes, this is also important, and it is one mistake that people make. People overuse emojis, and Facebook sees it as trying to trigger emotions in people, and they don't like that. Don't try as much as possible to trigger certain emotions in people you can do this with your copy without doing these things. Like if you pay a good copywriter, if you're a good copywriter, if you learn about copywriting, you can trigger those emotions without using emojis and exclamation marks. The way you write your words, the way you write your sentences, you can trigger those emotions without overly using capitalizations. Let's say buy now, you put it in capital letters. Even Google doesn't like this. So let's say buy now, or the certain actions, you put full capitalizations. They don't really like it if you have a lot of it. If you want to highlight certain words, Yetext, there's a site, yetext.com. You go to yetext.com, you can use that to bolden certain text, and you can just copy from Yetext and put it on Facebook, and it will still be bold within your ad text, within your ad copy. Rather than using over unnecessary capitalizations and all that. So emojis also reduce the amount. It's not bad to use emojis, don't get me wrong, but try as much as possible not to overuse it. You can use it to support your points like a normal text would look like, but don't overuse it. That's just basically the point. If you use overusing itself, you would know. Let the message in the ad be clear. Don't insinuate a clickbait. Now, what a clickbait is what is a clickbait? A clickbait is something that tries to get people to click a link without actually telling them what it is about. Let's say, for example, you want to do a training and you don't really say what the training is about. You can say 5,000 people have attended the training. Click now to join the training. You're not saying what it is, but with that kind of ad, people are going to click to find out what it is. It is better to describe it in your ad. It helps you in two ways. One, Facebook will think that you're original, and two, the kind of people that you want to go to your landing page will go there. The ones that don't want to go will not go because they already know what the training is about. You get, so it is better to not insinuate a clickbait. Try as much as possible to be as clear as possible in your ad copy or your ad video and in your images. Facebook doesn't like it, so you also stay away from it. Make account quality your friend. We're going to go to account quality when we're talking about the technical walkthrough. Make it your friend because there are so many things that you can see in account quality that you may not see. So go there once in a while, especially when your ad account is still fine. Go there once in a while to see how your page is doing, how your profile is doing, and how your ad account is doing. It will help you a lot. Where's this mouse? Let's progress. Okay, scaling your campaign. We'll talk about this a little bit, but let's move on to this part of it. It is important to keep certain things in mind when trying to scale an ad that is already converting. Now, in scaling your ad, you should know what to do at the right time, when to increase budget, duplicate a campaign, broaden or merge audiences. Each of these actions impacts the ad differently. I need to be sure of the kind of results you intend to get by taking certain actions. Now, what am I trying to say? When thinking about scaling your campaign, let's say you have an ad that is working, you have a campaign that is working, and you need to improve or scale or get that campaign to be doing crazy numbers. You need to know what to do depending on what you want to achieve. Let's say, for example, your ad is currently doing good numbers and you want it to reach a wider audience. Or let's say based on the metrics, your frequency, your ad frequency is going too high. You want to make sure that you want to increase your audience to make sure that your ad is still showing to the same type of audiences, but less frequency. Now, frequency is the number of times one person has seen your ad. If your frequency is going beyond 3, then you should think about either in short, basically broadening your audience or targeting a fresh audience. That is one of the things to do. Or reducing your budget. Let's say you are spending $10 a day to an audience of 100,000 people, and you're currently having 3 or greater than 3 as your ad frequency. You might want to reduce your budget a little so it doesn't show multiple times to people per day, because the frequency is per day. Is it per day? Yeah, per day and per time. So within a 7-day ratio, depending on how you set up the ad, within a 7-day period, how many times that particular person has seen your ad. So if the frequency is getting too high, you can also reduce your budget to make sure that the person doesn't see it too much, or you increase the audience. So depending on what you need to do or you intend to achieve, there are certain decisions that you make. That's why I said in scaling your ad, you should know what to do at the right time. When to increase budget, duplicate a campaign, broaden the audience, or merge audiences. So there are times, like I mentioned before, the inspect tool is one thing that can help you check if you're having overlapping audiences. So if you're having overlapping audiences, one thing that Facebook will even do is even recommend that you merge those audiences. So if you're having overlap and you're bidding against yourself, it makes sense to just merge the two audiences, increase your budget, and continue from there. But that's one way to scale your campaign. But depending on what you need to achieve or what you want to do, this is something that you can also do. Now, each of these actions impact, okay, now I'm done with all of that. To scale your campaign effectively, understand your metric before scaling. Now, some important metrics. I hope you guys can still hear me. And if you can see me, please type 111 in the chat. I've just been going since, and I don't even know if you guys are still there. Please type 111 in the chat if you can still hear me, please. Okay, I'm trying to rush so we can move into technical aspect. Okay, fine. Now, some important metrics that you need to
that you need to pay attention to before you start thinking of scaling is one, your CTR, sorry, that's the click-through rate on your ad and on your landing page. You click through it, cost per result. Your cost per result, let's say if you're optimizing for leads, your cost per lead, how much you're paying to get a lead and all of that. Then if you're optimizing for just basically your cost per result, then your cost per click, and then your landing page conversion rate. Pay attention to those metrics. There are others, but pay attention to this. Now use the 25% rule. That's for scaling. I've talked about this before. If you're doing $10, do 12.5, then do 15, then do 17.5 before you do 20, and so on and so on. Now, duplicating ad sets and campaigns where necessary. This is one way to scale up your campaign. I'll show you guys how to duplicate ad sets and campaigns. Don't overtake a campaign that is converting. I cannot scream this enough. If your campaign is working, it is converting. Remember, I told you there's a difference between working and converting. If your campaign is converting, don't overtouch it. If it's working, it's better to test in a different campaign. Let's say you have a campaign that is working and then there's a new creative that you want to test. Test it separately. If it's working before you now bring it to the campaign that is working. Don't overtake a campaign that is already converting, because when it is converting, it shows that everything put together, both your landing page, your funnel, and your ad is working. It's converting as a unit. So don't overtake it when it is working. Now, test new creative in new campaign. I've said that before. Do not let your ads go back to the learning phase. I said that before when I talked about your payment. Now, if your ad account is disabled because of a payment issue, after 7 days, your ad will go back. If you reactivate it after 7 days, your ad will go back into the learning phase. Try as much as possible not to take it back into the learning phase. Now, there's a kind of edit you will do, especially when it comes to audiences. If you edit your audience, there's a high percent chance that your ad will go back into learning phase. It is fine because you edited the audience and that is understandable. But if you want to maintain this as it is, if you have a disabled account because of payment issues, make sure you do that within 7 days and don't let it go back into learning phase if you want it to continue like that. Now, create lookalike audiences. I'll show you how to do that, and then use retargeting methods. Now, retargeting methods could be a lot of things. One, it could be targeting the people who like your page. It could be targeting the people who like your profile. It could be targeting people who have landed on your website. It could be targeting people who have taken action on your website. I hope you understand the difference. It could be, what else again? People who have bought from you before. Let's say you have a list of buyers. You have a list of people who have bought from you before, email addresses or phone number or whatever, and they've bought from you before, and you want to sell a different kind of product to them. If it's within the same niche, it is fine. You can easily create a lookalike audience of those people and retarget them. You said you can't see my screen. I'm surprised. If you can see my screen, please type 111 in the chat. Beautiful. So other people can see my screen. Please refresh your network. Bidoye. All right, let me continue. Now, we are at the 30 days map, which I created specifically for this purpose. For anybody who is watching this now, and you have never run ads before, you've not done anything before, you just want to start today, this map is going to help you. You can take a screenshot of it. You can take a screenshot before you have the recording available to you. You can use this map as a guide to help you think about how to set up your campaign and make it profitable within the next 30 days. You get? Now, from day 1 to 5, you build and set up your house. What do I mean? I call your page and your profile your house. What do I mean? If you do not have a Facebook page yet, set one up and post content daily. Minimum of 2 per day for 5 days. Also set up your ad account too, but do nothing with your ad account. I'm going to show you how to create a new ad account, a new business manager, and all of that shortly. But within the first 1 to 5 days, set up your Facebook page if you don't have any at all. If you don't have another account, create one and then just leave it. Don't do anything. What you do on day 1 to 5 is create your page, create your ad account, and link your ad account to your page. I'll show you how to do that. We have a lot to do with the technical part, but I'm trying to bombard the masterclass into just a 1-day class, yeah? So do this within day 1 to 5, and then you should be fine. So make sure that you have content. on the page within that 5 days. So you should have minimum of 10 pieces of content, like I mentioned before, on the account. Now, build your likes and follow account. Now, this is a way to add authority. If you have a page with 0 followers, people will most likely not want to interact with that page because they're like, this person doesn't even know a lot of people. Now, you can shoot two birds with one stone by doing this. With the new ad account you created 5 days ago, run a likes and post engagement campaign to the page you created and posted content for 5 days. Now, while you are doing this, from the new ad account that you just created, you will run a page likes and follower campaign, a page likes and engagement campaign within the next 7 days. From day 5 to day 12, you run that for 7 days, and then get people to like your page, get people to follow your content. The audience research it can be a broad audience. Just make sure that the content on the page is relatable to the audience that you are targeting. It doesn't have to be your main audience that you want to sell to or you want to build a conversion campaign for, but it's just an audience for people to like. Facebook has segmentation in the kind of people that they have on their platform. They know the people that will just click on anything and like it. They know the people that will convert. They know the people who will buy. They know the people who will follow. You get, so depending on your objective, that's why you have different levels of objective within your business manager. Will show that to you. But when you're building a live campaign, Facebook will show your ad to people in that audience who are most likely going to like your page and increase your followers. So what you do within that 7 days is run a live campaign and then also run an engagement post campaign. This campaign is, you're doing two things. You're warming up your ad account and then you're building authority on your page. Also with paid ads. This, you can do this for live campaign. You can do it at 1,000 Naira a day. For dollars, you can do $5 a day or even $2 a day. I think you can do $2 a day. Something very, very minute. Just get your page to minimum 300 followers. You can do this within 7 days. It can be really, really cheap to get likes and followers. Get so you can do that within 7 days and then you are good to go for conversion ad. Now, why I say attempt here is you can make mistakes here. For the likes and followers campaign, you may get easily approved. It is almost difficult for Facebook to disapprove your likes and follower ads. If you do it correctly and you follow the guidelines I've given you before, it is almost easy for them to approve it. But when you want to do conversion ad, that is where they begin to get critical. So that's why I said attempt for someone who's just doing this from the beginning. But if you follow all the guidelines I've given you, all the things I've told you to do before you even get to this point, then you should be fine. Now set up a conversion ad. Make sure the campaign has a minimum of 3 different ads and strive for Facebook to approve just one so the campaign can start running. Use the under the radar trick and stay under the radar. Now, the under the radar trick is simple. It's very simple. It's very, very simple. Let me just mention it here. It's very simple in the sense that if you have successfully done the 5 to 12, you have run a likes campaign and post engagement campaign, it means that you already know what works in terms of likes and post engagement campaign. What you just need to do is when you attempt to run a conversion ad, if you post 3 different ads and Facebook approves just one, it means you have 2 disapproved, correct? So what you need to do now is based on the 10 content that you've created before, run likes and post engagement campaign to those other content and make sure they approve 4. What do I mean? You have 2 rejected. Now you have 4 that are approved after the rejection. Remember I said you should delete ads that are disapproved. Now, I'll come again. While you are setting up your conversion ad, set up 3 different ads. This is because you are doing this within a 30-day period. You have set up 3 different ads and Facebook approved 1. You have 2 that are rejected. Now, for those 2 that are rejected, create 2 other ads for each that was rejected. So you have 2 that are rejected, so you need to have 4 more that are approved. Now, because it is easy to have likes and post engagement campaign approved, for the 2 that were rejected, get 4 more likes and post engagement campaigns that are approved and continue with that. Now, your ratio to approve to disapprove will be higher. It means that within a certain period of time, you had 2 ads disapproved, but you have up to like 5 or 6 ads approved, and that will keep you under the Facebook radar. But if you had 2 disapproved, and then you now say, let me try and do it better, and then they disapprove it again, you are going to be putting yourself in a difficult situation almost immediately. This is not cast in stone, but it is something that can help you get yourself up and running within 30 days. So at this point, you have 1 conversion ad running, and you also have an account that you are warming up really, really quickly. That's what this gives you from your day 13 to day 21. Now, for the rest of the month, for the rest of the 30 days, the remaining 8 days, you can now scale and improve. Oh, wow. She's lost. I hope anyone else understands me, please, because I'm trying to quickly do this. From your day 22 to day 30, all you now need to do is set up more ads like the one that was approved and stay under the radar. Use the ad scaling technique, which is what I've talked about before, to scale the ad that has been approved before. At the end of these 30 days, you should have an ad account that has been warmed up and now running conversion ads. So this way, you know that you have an ad account that is working, a page that is working, a page that is under the radar, and an ad account that is also under the radar. Now, let me explain the under the radar technique again. What you need to do is, while setting up your campaign, if you had one ad rejected, let's say only one was rejected, set up, because you have set up a likes and post engagement campaign before that was approved, set up a similar one that will get approved. Now, if you have one that is approved, set up two that will be approved. And then that means you have 2 against 1. One was rejected, you have 2 more that are approved. That way, your ratio of approved to disapproved will be higher. It will keep your account quality a little bit better. I'm not saying it will ban-proof your account, but it will help you a great deal. That's one of the quickest ways to get banned if your ratio of approved ads to disapproved ads is low. You get, so that is one way to stay under the radar. Just keep that in mind. Now we'll move on to the next step. What's the next step now? Now, these are relevant links that you will need. I'm going to paste them in the chat box. Let me just, can I copy them? Let me paste them in the chat box so that you can yes, please. If you have an ad that is disapproved, make sure that when you are creating your ad, make sure that the copy, you wrote it down somewhere in an Excel sheet, sorry, in a Word document or somewhere so they can always go back and edit it. Delete the one that was disapproved. I always recommend deleting it. Delete it from your account, let it not be there. Don't leave it for any reason. If you want to redo it, if you want to do any edits, do it on the copy that you have saved and then go it again. Are you saying the like and post and main campaign is different from the 3 conversion ads? Yes. And we need to run the like and post to ensure. No, that's not what I'm saying. The like and post engagement campaign was to build your follow account and also to warm up your ad account. To boost conversion, that is an entirely different topic, and I've not talked about that yet. That's an entirely different topic. The reason why you're running the like and post engagement is because you want to warm up your account and build your okay. So let me just copy these links, paste them in the chat box so that you guys can have that ready to go. Then we're not going to technical walkthrough. I'm going to try as much as possible not to take so much time in the technical walkthrough. Now, the reason I'm giving you this Facebook ad library link, for some of you that don't know, is so that you can always go back and check. If you go to ads library, you can check what others are doing in your country, all over the world, and you can see ads that have been approved, and you can have an idea of how to set up your ad, like the kind of creative and the type of videos and stuff to do, or how to build your landing page. If you know bigger people in your niche, bigger people in your business, you can easily go there, check the kind of ads that they're running, and then you can always model, not copy. Don't copy, just model. Just have an idea of what you need to do. Now let's go into technical walkthrough. I'm going to stop sharing my slides now. Let's oh wow. Let me share this page. Okay, guys, please confirm you can see my screen. Share with me the, let's say, 111 in the chat box. Okay. This type, okay, beautiful. Now, this is an example of one of my pages. And the reason why I'm showing you this, I'm starting from this page so you can have an idea of what I am talking about. Now, someone asked earlier how you can give other people access to a page. Now, how did I get here? Let me go back to the main, because if you're using this, this is the Facebook pages experience. You get, this is the Facebook new pages experience. Now, if you're on this page, all you just need to do is go down to professional dashboard. If you're using the classic pages, it's quite different, but this is Facebook new page experience. I'm sure you will see this, and most pages have been upgraded to this page experience. Go to professional dashboard and then go to page access. When you go to page access, then you can now see